Yolanda. Hello, nice to meet you. Here I like to share my wellness journey. And because I shared my wellness journey, I had a company called Midway who decided to reach out to me and ask me if I would care to sample one of their products. And after doing a bit of research, I said, why yes I would. So we're going to experience this S-shaped machine together. So what is an S-shaped machine? Primarily it's a cavitation device, which also has a suction feature as well. And if you're like me and had never heard of a cavitation device, let me break it down for you in layman's terms. A cavitation device is usually used in like a spa or a medi-spa setting. But the company Midway has a home version that they shipped out to me, and it is right there. We'll get a close-up look at it in just a minute. So it's used for body sculpting and for like getting rid of localized fat, not for weight loss. But how does it work? It uses ultrasound waves to break down fat cells via bubbles that kind of go inside the fat cells and causes the fat cells to implode, therefore liquefying, and then you eliminate that fat cell naturally through your lymphatic system. But before I get started using it, I want you to be well aware that there are people who cannot use this machine, such as diabetics or people who are pregnant or just recently had a child, and a host of other people. But make sure that you do your research to make sure it's safe for you to use the machine. A few more notes before we get into it. I'm excited to try it. I personally am going to use the heat break drain method in order to make my cavitation session most effective. So the heat step. I'm going to start off by warming my body up with my red light therapy mask for about 20 minutes before I get into the S machine. And the break is obviously using the cavitation machine itself. And then my drain method, which is actually the most involved step, I'm going to use the suction to direct the liquefied fat towards my lymphatic system. And then I'm going to get on my vibration plate to help move things along. And then after that, I'll go for a 30-minute walk on my walking pad. A few more things for aftercare. You don't want to eat a meal directly after doing this. You want to wait like 2 hours before and after your session. And then you also don't want to drink alcohol, eat high-fat foods, high sugar, and high carbs after the session and expect there to still be results. Speaking of results, you typically can expect results 6 to 8 sessions from the start. It is recommended that you do 1 to 2 sessions a week, keeping at least 72 hours between the sessions. So I've opted to do it on Wednesdays and Saturdays because it fits in well with my current workout schedule. So with that said, I'm obviously already on a fitness/weight loss journey, but I want to be able to show you guys the results that I get from this machine. I mean, the hope is I'm going to be slimming down naturally anyway. What I'm going to do to show the impact of the cavitation device is to only do one arm and one leg. And hopefully I won't regret that later. But it's all good. Since I have the device at home, I can just work on the opposite leg and the opposite arm the following weeks. So I decided I'm going to do the biggest arm and the biggest leg and hope that it will balance everything out and make them both even. Does that make sense? But before I get started, I do need to take off all the metal off of my body to make sure that there's no interactions when I'm doing the machine. So it looks like we're doing my left arm and left leg along with my waist. So the book gives you guidelines on the directions to go. So I'm gonna just follow what they say. Y'all probably can't hear it. Like when you're using it, you hear this ringing in your ears. Supposedly no one else can hear it. That's just supposed to mean it works. I'm really starting to hear ringing. They did say don't just glide. You gotta press into your arm or press into the surface that you're treating. So I'm pressing and going slow. So I finished the cavitation on the left arm and I'm about to use the suction on this arm. But with suction, you don't use the gel. You use a oil. They say an essential oil, but an oil that does not solidify because you don't want it to get like trapped in the machine. We're gonna oil the arm up and get ready for suction. And so it defaulted to M3. So I'm gonna just leave it there and see how that feels. It says M3 and level 5. So I'm gonna do it in the same motion as the directions gave. We're gonna go up really slowly, and then we're gonna go in circles. I feel like I can increase it. I can handle a little bit more suction than this. Okay, so I finally got the whole suction thing. There is a knob at the front of the machine that controls the intensity of the suction. And so I cut the suction on fully, which is M1 on the machine, and was able to get the suction thing going. So yes, it's a knob in the front that controls the intensity of the suction. So that'll give it a little compression on the thigh while I work on the stomach, the grand finale for today. And it's a buzzing. I've noticed that it's louder at the fattier parts. Remember to push in and go slow. I think we'll build our way up to a stronger suction. Whew. Ready to party. So we're going to continue with the drain phase of this session by hopping on the vibration plate and getting our lymphatic system an extra boost to drain all those fat cells that we just broke up. First session done. Hey guys, it is session 2. Now I'm not going to walk you through the whole thing again, but I did wanted to tell you a few changes I'm making for session 2. For this session, and most likely moving forward, I'm still going to do the heat break drain session, but instead of using red light therapy for the heat part, I'm going to get on my elliptical to warm up my entire body, and I'm going to use a heating pad to warm the specific areas that I'm going to be using cavitation on today. So that's my left arm, my left leg, and my stomach. And the great part, guys, since it's Saturday, my husband can help me with it. So instead of doing the front of my thigh, I'm going to have him do the back of my leg for me. The new development for this section is I'll only do the front of my thigh on Wednesday, and my husband will do the back of my thighs on Saturday. So basically, the front and the back of my left thigh will only get treated once a week, while my left arm and my stomach area will get treated twice a week. Now, after doing a bit of research, I realized since I am overweight, obese, however you want to categorize it, I'm able to use the 30K cavitation on my arms and thighs, basically because my skin is deeper or has more depth. So let me show you that difference on the machine. Initially, when I would log in, I would go in and go to household, and you see arms and waist and legs was there. So when I went to arms, well, here it says that the cavitation is 50. So instead, what I am doing now is going to specialize and doing 30K for everything, and I could just customize the settings here. Well, that's enough chat for session 3, so let me get started. Session 4, and my tip for this session is, if you have a larger stomach like mine, kind of divide it in half. So I'm now doing 15 minutes on one side and 15 minutes on the other side. And I also lay down to do it so that I can get the love handles really good.
Rice Krispies, and we have 2 bags of mini marshmallows, and they're just gonna sit there and get.
So session 5's tip is to remember to drink plenty of water before and after your session. It helps to flush out your system.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and measure this out and plate it into...
Initially, I did just as the booklet suggested, which was, for example, with my arm, was to start here and then work your way here. But I quickly realized it was more important to me to just focus on my actual problem area and not worry about slimming down this part of my arm. And the same goes for my leg. Instead of working on the bottom half of my leg, I just focused on my upper thigh. More so, my inner thigh. Because considering that a lot of people do cavitation inside of a med spa, I presume the tech would customize your experience so that you would get the results that you desire.